The front door burst open so suddenly that the coffee mug slipped from Rowan Mercer's hand and shattered across the kitchen floor. Standing in the doorway was his neighbor's wife, her face pale, her breathing uneven, her hands trembling as though she had outrun a storm no one else could see. Tears streaked across her cheeks as she whispered the only words she seemed capable of saying anymore. She asked if she could stay there for the day. In that single desperate moment, Rowan realized that sometimes the greatest battles leave no bruises at all. Before this story unfolds, if you believe that kindness can change a life, forgiveness can heal even the deepest wounds, hope should never be abandoned, and everyone deserves a second chance, please like this video, leave a thoughtful comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel so our community can continue sharing emotional journeys that remind us of the good still left in the world. Rowan Mercer had lived on the same quiet suburban street in Oregon for nearly 12 years. His small blue house stood beside a larger white home where his neighbors, Garrett Holloway and his wife, Vivian Holloway, had moved only 18 months earlier. They appeared to be the kind of couple everyone quietly admired. Garrett coached youth baseball on weekends, always waving to children riding bicycles through the neighborhood. Vivian volunteered at the public library, organizing reading circles for children and seniors alike. Their front yard was always neat, flowers carefully watered, and their smiles during neighborhood gatherings convinced everyone they had found the perfect balance between love and ordinary life. Appearances, Rowan would eventually learn, often hid silent heartbreak. Rowan himself carried scars that few people knew about. Years earlier, his wife had passed away after a long illness, leaving him with a home that felt far larger than one person should ever have to fill. He never remarried. Instead, he poured his energy into restoring antique furniture, finding peace in repairing broken things. Every crack in old wood reminded him that damage did not always mean something had reached the end of its story. Vivian had always been especially kind to him. Every few weeks she left homemade bread on his porch or waved whenever she saw him tending his garden. They never shared anything beyond friendly conversations, but Rowan recognized genuine warmth whenever he encountered it. On that bright autumn morning, however, the warmth had disappeared from her eyes. She looked exhausted, frightened, and emotionally shattered. Rowan welcomed her inside without asking unnecessary questions. He simply offered a chair, a glass of water, and the quiet safety of someone willing to listen. As the morning sunlight streamed through the kitchen windows, Vivian slowly began telling him about the months leading to that desperate visit. Garrett had not become cruel overnight. The change had happened so gradually that she barely noticed it herself. Stress at work became shorter conversations. Short conversations became constant criticism, criticism became suspicion, suspicion became emotional distance. Soon every innocent misunderstanding turned into another argument. Every forgotten errand became proof that she no longer cared. Every attempt to explain herself somehow made things worse. Neither of them had learned how to communicate through disappointment. Instead of solving problems together, they quietly collected them. Each unspoken hurt became another brick in a wall separating two people who still loved each other but no longer knew how to reach one another. That morning, another argument had erupted over something neither of them would probably remember a week later, yet the words spoken during anger lingered far longer than the reason behind them. Vivian admitted she no longer recognized the marriage she had once treasured. She wasn't afraid Garrett would hurt her physically. She was terrified they were slowly destroying everything beautiful they had built together. Rowan listened carefully without interrupting. When she finished speaking, silence settled over the room. Outside, children laughed while riding bicycles beneath colorful maple trees. Birds landed across freshly cut lawns. The ordinary beauty of the day felt strangely comforting. Rowan finally spoke with gentle honesty. He told her that pain often convinced people they had become enemies when, in truth, they were simply two frightened people standing on opposite sides of the same wound. Vivian cried harder than before. No one had described her marriage that way, not even herself. Hours passed quietly. She helped Rowan sweep the broken ceramic pieces from the kitchen floor. She laughed softly when one stubborn shard slid beneath the refrigerator. It was the first genuine smile to cross her face all day. Around noon, an unexpected knock echoed through the house. Garrett stood outside, his shoulders sagged beneath the weight of regret. His confident posture had vanished. Instead stood a husband who looked as though he had aged several years since sunrise. That he had searched every place he thought Vivian might go before finally gathering enough courage to knock on Rowan's door. His eyes immediately filled with relief. After seeing she was safe, no anger remained, only heartbreak. Garrett quietly admitted that he had allowed pressure from work, financial uncertainty, and his own fear of failure to transform him into someone he never wanted to become. Instead of asking for support, he had pushed away the person trying hardest to stand beside him. He confessed he had mistaken pride for strength. It nearly cost him everything. Vivian listened carefully. For the first time in months, Garrett stopped defending himself. He accepted responsibility without excuses. He acknowledged every careless word, every cold silence, every broken promise to communicate better. His apology was imperfect, emotional, and completely sincere. Rowan quietly stepped outside, giving them privacy while remaining nearby if they needed him. He sat on his porch watching golden leaves drift through warm afternoon sunlight. He reflected on how easily pride convinced people that winning an argument mattered more than protecting a relationship. Nearly an hour later, the front door opened again. Vivian and Garrett stepped outside together. Their eyes remained red from crying. They looked emotionally exhausted, but something had changed. The distance between them had disappeared. Instead of walking several feet apart, their hands were tightly intertwined. Neither pretended everything had been magically repaired. Real healing never happened that quickly. Instead, they had made a promise to begin again, not because forgetting was easy, because love deserved another chance. During the following months, the neighborhood slowly witnessed quiet transformations. Garrett reduced his overtime hours despite earning less money. He attended counseling with Vivian. They scheduled weekly afternoons with no phones, no work, and no distractions. They relearned simple conversations that had once come naturally. Sometimes healing looked surprisingly ordinary. Sharing lunch together, walking through the neighborhood, laughing over small mistakes, sitting silently on the front porch without needing to fill every moment with words. Rowan often watched them from his own garden. Seeing their marriage slowly recover reminded him that broken things could indeed become beautiful again, not because the cracks disappeared, because someone cared enough to repair them. Nearly a year later, during the neighborhood summer picnic held beneath clear afternoon skies, Garrett stood before friends and neighbors to thank everyone who had quietly supported his family without gossip or judgment. Then he looked toward Rowan. Without embarrassing anyone, he simply acknowledged that one act of kindness on one difficult day had changed 3 lives forever. Rowan felt unexpectedly emotional. He realized he had believed he was helping someone else. In truth, they had also healed a lonely part of him that had remained closed since losing his own wife years earlier. Watching another family survive reminded him that hope never truly vanished. It only waited patiently for someone brave enough to choose compassion over resentment. Before we reach the end of this journey, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment sharing what lesson touched your heart the most. Do you believe forgiveness is strongest when someone accepts responsibility and truly changes, or has kindness from another person ever helped you through one of life's hardest days? As the afternoon sun settled lower across the peaceful neighborhood, Rowan returned to restoring an old wooden rocking chair that many people believed was beyond saving. He carefully filled its cracks, strengthened its fragile joints, polished its weathered surface, and smiled as it slowly became whole again. Looking toward the Holloway's home, where laughter drifted through open windows, he realized people were often much like that chair. They did not need to be perfect to be worthy of love. They simply needed patience, honesty, courage, and someone willing to believe they could still be restored. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May we all remember that the strongest homes are not the ones that never face storms, but the ones where people choose, day after day, to rebuild together with compassion, forgiveness, and hope.